Polio is a crippling disease. When it strikes a person, first things that would happen is that it will cripple the person. They will become paralyzed, usually from the waist down, and in several occasions they will also die. It's considered a waterborne disease, and it passes on from, say, traces of feces in food that is ingested by a human being. And that's how it passes on from one person to the other. And if there are problems with sanitation and cleanliness in a community, it can pass extremely quickly. Now, normally the people who are most vulnerable to polio are children of the ages of 5 years and below. And in communities, it's really important to ensure that we have our children to go through the regular vaccinations, including polio vaccination, so that they can be safe from this terrible, terrible disease.
Now, polio has just been declared a public health emergency by the World Health Body, but in recent years it looked as if polio was nearing global eradication. In Africa, for instance, Nigeria was reported to be the only country still battling with the epidemic. So can you please explain the prevalence of polio in the world?
Well, this crippling disease has been a concern, and Rotary International made it its global project in 1985 with the belief that we could eradicate polio from the face of the earth and save thousands and millions of children's lives across this world. We came together with partners, including the WHO, UNICEF, CDC, and others, with a goal to eradicate it by the year 2005. That didn't happen for a number of reasons. But one of the key things that happened is that we have reduced the disease by about 99% since 1985. In 1985, what the figures reported was 300,000 new cases of polio every year. Last year, we had only about 400 new cases. And this year, I think so far we are seeing only 82 new cases of polio. So we've eradicated the disease by 99%, and we have only 1% more to go. Now, the endemic countries 3 years ago included India, Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Nigeria. And endemic countries here means countries that have reported new cases of polio every single year, continuously. But India, on the 13th of January in 2011, was taken off the endemic countries list because for the first time, for one entire year, they did not have any new cases of polio. And this has happened for the last 3 years. And that was a very, very major achievement for the global polio eradication partners. Nigeria, Pakistan, and Afghanistan are still seeing new cases, but we're seeing less and less. And Nigeria is very intent on ending new cases of polio by the end of this year.
Joe, it is believed that for as long as polio is still active in some countries, especially the ones you've mentioned, the disease remains a threat to the entire global society. Now, why are these countries still struggling to end polio?
Well, I think that Rotary was best suited to be the leader of a fight like this because Rotary is in over 200 countries with 1.2 million members across the world. So we are able to transcend governments, we're able to transcend communities and be able to get, these vaccines down to the children that need it. Now, there are a number of difficult areas. These areas usually have security problems, and we find that in Pakistan, in Afghanistan, we also find it in Nigeria, especially in the north. And there are attitudes in those countries where people are avoiding being vaccinated because of misrepresentation of the fact. Some people think that the vaccines are actually going to hurt their children, which of course is not the case. So it is mainly because of attitudes and also security issues.
Now, Rotary International has noted a lack of polio awareness amongst the younger generations in developed and polio-free nations. Elaborate more on that and why is it a concern?
Well, Rotary International, along with the other partners of the Global Polio Eradication Initiative, I think the work that they've done has been tremendous. And the majority of countries that have been seeing new polio cases are not seeing new polio cases. So for newer generations, they don't know what polio looks like. And the fact that they don't know also poses a little bit of a threat because it means that they will not see the need to fund the initiatives to end polio across the world because of the lack of knowledge or because of lack of exposure to it. So it's a good thing in one hand that they don't know it because that's really what we're trying to do. But then it's a challenge because we want people to be aware that we have just that 1% more to go. And unless we eradicate it completely, the other countries are still at risk. The children of this world are still at risk.
Now, let's talk about the online photo awareness campaign and how it seeks to keep the polio epidemic on the spotlight.
Yes, within initiatives like this, communicated at conferences, communicated at the end polio, the end game strategy that happened in Dubai about a year and a half ago. it was important to be able to bring it to the younger generation and to digital savvy communities. So we chose to do this portal where people could be able to contribute and participate in ending polio. The first thing that this campaign was meant to do was raise awareness that yes, we are just about to eradicate polio and we need your help to make history. The second thing was to raise money because there is a funding gap of about 1.4 billion that Rotary and other partners are trying to raise. And the campaign was really about uploading a picture with the this close sign, which is two fingers showing the sign of little, saying that we are just 1% away from ending polio and making history. And it's called the world's largest commercial. And so far, we had about 300,000 entries into this commercial. So in terms of success, I think it is quite successfully doing the things it wants to do, including raising awareness. And it is indeed helping us to raise funds for the eradication initiative.